just months after he received a hero send-off from the hospital. Former New York State Trooper Thomas Messia turned himself into authorities, accused of fabricating the shooting that had landed him there.
Shot fired, I'm hit. Westbound, Southern State, right before exit 17.
Last October, Messia radioing in that he had been shot while approaching a vehicle parked in the median of a Long Island highway. His fellow troopers temporarily shutting down the highway, searching for a suspect Messia described as black or Hispanic, according to police.
Tom's assailant remains at large and is an extremely dangerous person.
But police now say there was no assailant and that Messia staged the shooting scene to gain attention or sympathy for himself, according to charging documents, placing .22 caliber shell casings on the ground hours earlier, then shooting himself at another location before returning to the highway to call in the fabricated attack.
The shooter that we were all looking for only existed in Messia's head, in his imagination.
Why did you do it?
The 5-year state police veteran resigned on Friday and has been charged with falsely reporting a crime, evidence tampering, and official misconduct.
After combing the scene of the alleged shooting for any shred of physical evidence, those searches all ended the same way. 9 shell casings, but no projectiles found at the scene. No tire marks. Not a single video that showed the Dodge Charger Messia claimed belonged to his shooter.
His parents, whose home was searched late last year, were also arrested, charged with criminal possession of a firearm. All of them pleaded not guilty and have been released as they await trial. The Messia's attorney, Jeffrey Lichtman, telling NBC News, this case is a tragedy that was caused by unseen and untreated mental health issues, and now an entire family is suffering for it, as they usually do in such situations.
You believe that?
Listening to the Never Kamala crowd tell Kamala voters that pointing fingers is not helpful and right now we need a fight. It's like listening to white people pull that can't we all just get along BS when minorities lay out all the ways that they have harmed us. We have to stop blaming each other and come together. It's so dismissive. Like, if you want to talk about unification, we need to understand this divide first. You guys thought that the righteous thing to do was to gamble on our human rights to send a message to our government, a big FU to the government over our rigged two-party system. Do you feel heard now? Oh, it's almost like we said that adding more obstacles for us to fight was counterproductive. All over, I'm saying, guys, when are we doing this? When are we protesting? What are you waiting for? Who are you waiting on? It can't be us. You got this, Katniss. You can't ask for unity when you're boasting about or proudly defending actions that put us in harm's way. You're still dragging that woman and she lost. Like, why am I hearing more about her and spineless Democrats and blue MAGA versus your plan to dismantle the two-party system? Your plan to dismantle our military-industrial complex? Like, what's the plan? Why aren't you outside? Why has this promising movement gone silent again? It's almost like we called it. It was all about owning the liberals and sticking it to the man. After tearing Kamala down and uplifting the third-party movement, you had no plans. You never thought the responsibility to lead a movement would fall on you, and now it has. Go ahead. Go ahead. But you lost millions of supporters that you would have had you not played with our lives. You were not the revolutionary you think you are. Talking about they're the exact same and we're just fear-mongering. They had polar opposite viewpoints on gay rights, trans rights, reproductive rights, deportation and immigration practices. One has a right-hand man who did the salute to them, and the other one has no problem denouncing them. One hopes to clear out Gaza and make it a resort. The other one called for a ceasefire. One respects the transfer of power. The other one pardoned people who tried to overthrow the government in his name. One is an aspiring dictator. One is not. You guys held a black woman to impossible standards, expecting her to dismantle foreign policies that have been in place for decades. As vice president, you held her accountable for the actions and inactions of white men who had power that she did not. To see a growing number of communities suffer and be put at risk just to turn around and say, yeah, this was all worth it, and then ask us where we are. Shame us for taking a step back. You, each and every one of you who didn't vote, who voted for a non-viable candidate and encouraged others to do the same. Until you understand the gravity of what you all collectively did, until I can trust that in 4 years, fingers crossed, you won't gamble on our human rights again, until you provide an actual plan for this revolution you're definitely not serious about, don't call on nobody to build community with you guys. Like, where do you suggest starting for this revolution? What's the first step? You have concepts of a revolution. Got it.
46% with the Hispanics. 46%. Number one with Hispanics. By the time the sun sets tomorrow evening, the invasion of our borders will have come to a halt, and all the illegal border trespassers will in some form or another be on their way back home.
The Philippine ambassador should not have said those things because it causes unnecessary panic in our community.
Romeo Hebron says he was flooded with calls and walk-ins to the migrant center here in North Long Beach once Filipinos heard this from their ambassador.
Well, my advice to them is to immediately leave voluntarily, because once you're deported, you can never come back to the United States.
Certainly blunt advice, but not entirely correct. Being caught without authorization in the U.S. brings a 10-year ban against returning legally. Still, the message was clear. Leave now before being caught up in President-elect Trump's mass deportation threats.
My advice is for them not to wait to be deported.
There are about 4 million Filipinos in the U.S., and our estimate is that 1 in 4 is undocumented.
That's between 200 and 300,000 Filipinos, and many have been in the U.S. for decades.
Oh, they just took the baby. Oh, oh. Oh. Oh my God, they took her baby from her. I'm nosy as hell. Oh my God.
Mi gente se puso cabrón para acá, para el lado de Fresno también. Para la gente que le gusta ir a los remates, cuidado. Ahorita en la mañana miré para el lado de Sanger, había como unas 3 patrullas con otros 3 carros para personales. Tengan cuidado, no sé si se van a empezar a meter al field o andar en la ciudad, pero tengan cuidado ya. Ayer andaban en el freeway, ahora parece que se van a empezar a meter a los files y a la ciudad. Y para toda la gente pues que no está empapelada, tengan mucho cuidado porque andan en toda esta área de San Joaquín. Cuídense mucho.
Yep. I'm off. I'm deporting myself before I get deported. I'm going home. I'm going home. I'm going home. Guys, please, 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 please wish me good luck. Because I've been threatened on this app many times that I'm illegal, I'm going to get deported. I don't have to wait to be deported. I will use my 2 legs and boom, vamoose, I'm out. Maybe you guys have peace now. I've left the country. I deported myself. Happy now? Okay. Watch out.
We'll be more than happy to help. And for those customers who have already ordered assistance to leave the aircraft, please do remain seated until the aisle around you is clear. And as always...
Hey guys, so if y'all think that the people are fear-mongering about food and our communities running out of food and there being a big balloon and there being economic problems, this is in Central Illinois. This factory, which is next door to my home, is the Bimbo Bakery factory, and next door to it is 2 more factories, and then across the street is another factory. This parking lot should be full. This factory runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It is 5:30.
And that exhaust there is just ventilation.
That's just the ventilation. This would typically
there should
be full.
There should be a huge smoke column somewhere right around here going that way with the production oven.
And if you look at that parking lot, it is empty. This is shift change. It is the middle of shift change. And the entrance to the parking lot is right there. And this is our only street in and out of town to get over there. And as you can see, there are no cars. So this is our bakery, Bimbo Bakery. They make things like the English muffins. So expect there to be a fucking problem when it comes down to our food in the next upcoming months.
Now, find a new rival.
You said the following, and I quote, "We should not be giving black people the same vaccine schedule that's given to whites because their immune system is better than ours." Can you please explain what you meant?
There's a series of studies, I think most of them by Poland, that show that to particular antigens that blacks have a much stronger reaction. There's differences in reaction to different products by different races.
So I have 17 seconds left. Let me just ask you then. So what different vaccine schedule would you say I should have received? What different vaccine schedule should I have received?
I mean, the Poland article suggests that blacks need fewer antigens than
this is so dangerous.
You get the same measles vaccine.
Mr. Kennedy, with all due respect, that is so dangerous. Your voice would be a voice that parents would listen to. That is so dangerous. I will be voting against your nomination because your views are dangerous to our state and to our country.
I want to note for the first story, this is not the first time, and it won't be the last time that I will bring to you guys of a cop who obviously is not black that will decide that, hey, I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say that a black guy did it. Now, some people will say, well, Seiji, that's a little bit unfair because he also listed Hispanic people as well. Let's just get that. Look at his last name. Do you really think that somebody's going to believe that one of his people came directly after? No. They're going to go with the primary suspect that they've raised America on to believe that black men are the most criminal-minded. They are, the most suspicious, right? They are the most violent, right? Everybody's going to believe that if a cop says that a black guy did it, the world is going to believe that a black guy did it because that's just how everything works. But obviously in his boredom, in him being tired, him wanting to look for some type of out, but while also looking for the out, he's looking for that hero's glory. He's looking for that hero's welcome. He wanted to go to Valhalla without having to sacrifice his life. He just wanted the doors open, right? And this is what he tried to do. He tried to literally stage an incident, call it in, go to another incident, and then drive back and be like, yes, here I am, guys. Come airlift me. I am your hero, and you must save me and congratulate me, right? Because like I said, I don't know what comes with this whole thing. If a cop goes through an incident like this, I'm not sure what type of vacation, what type of pay, what type of goodies comes with this. You saw him shaking hands to somebody outside of the door like he was some type of rapper, like he was a celebrity. That's crazy to me. So you are that bored. You are that lame in life that you have to fake an incident like this in order to feel some type of success or glory, to really feel as though that you really did something. And you have to just try to throw black men directly under the bus while doing this. That's some crazy work. That's some crazy work. Just to go to the other extent, notice how he gave you the two demographics. He said either black or Hispanic. Why is it that he didn't want to try to list anybody else directly in there? Why is it? Why is it? And why is it that black was the first one that he thought of? But again, we already know the answer to that question, because as I've always showcased to you guys, you have this type of thought process when it deals with cops and how it is that they want to always be the good guy. And in order to be this good guy, you have to have a villain. So just like America does when they make their villains, the police learn directly from their fathers. And in order to make a villain, you have to frame somebody for it. When realistically, at the end of the day, this shows you that a lot of the cops are the actual villains in the story that they paint. Too many times and far too often, you've had incidences of cops doing this, or instances of cops going after one of their brothers or their sisters, causing incidences to take place or even a loss of life. But yet, everybody wants to treat the cops like, hey, this is just a one-off situation. This is not indicative of every single cop. If all the quote unquote good cops are not calling any of this out, then they're all bad to me. And I don't have time to try to specifically point out the situation or try to pin out everybody by a situation, individual by individual basis. Nobody has time for that. Because by the time you do that and find that study, it's far too late. And more people would have more than likely gotten framed or lost their lives or both. And no justice will ever be served. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about this video and everything that I listed in the comment description below. And as always, peace, love, and stay tuned for the next video.